Hallelujah. Shalom, shalom, shalom. I do hope everyone is well. This is the day that Yah has made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. I want to encourage you with that. When you wake up in the morning, to declare that this is the day that Yah has made, and you will rejoice and be glad in it. You know, there are so many things to be sad about and to be worried about. And moving about, especially on yesterday, you can see that a lot of persons are very concerned and overwhelmed by what is going on and what is coming over the airwaves and on social media. And for some reason, a lot of people can't seem to block it out. Like they feel as if they have to take all of this in. I may have mentioned before that I do not listen to the radio. I have not sat and watched the news from I think about, I don't know how many years I have not sat in front of the TV and watched the news. But I know from 2017 for sure I have not sat and listened to the radio. Because I decided it was too much negative energy for me. And especially driving and you hearing all of this talk and all. I don't. Sometimes I drive listening to CDs or just silence. And that time, believe it or not, is when I get to really spend my quiet time with the Father. And a lot of what I say on this channel is what I get doing driving. But yesterday I was driving with my son, running some errands, and I took him with him the last time, and I put on the radio so we could have hear some music, premium music, which I hadn't heard in a long time, and it was nice. But when the commentator came on, or the host of the show, he began to mention what he had been seeing coming over his social media thread. And what I remember him saying is that there is so much to be fearful of. And I said to my son, do you hear that? I said, that is what they're doing. They are just projecting fear on people. He's saying to you, there is a lot to be fearful of, and that is what you get coming over the airwaves. Fear, just gloom and doom. And so I decided to block it out. And so I want to encourage you that when you wake up in the morning, to declare that you are going to be happy, that you are going to rejoice, because this is the day that He has made, and nothing that is happening has taken Him by surprise. And if you are resting in Him, you should be able to rejoice. You should be able, yes, there is a lot going on. Listen, a lot. You understand me? But in the midst of all of that, if you understand who He is, you can still be at peace and you can still be happy. You can still rejoice. There's always something to still rejoice about. So I want to encourage you with that. And in terms of the fear, listen, these people encourage you to be fearful of a lot of things except Yah. Ecclesiastes 12, and I think it was 13, that says, let us hear the conclusion of the matter. To fear Yah. They want to be afraid of this, that, and everything except the Most High. Fear Him. Keep His commandments, for that is the duty of man. Okay? Not what's going on around you. Because what's going on around you, if you are living fear, and that's reverence and respect for Yah, you have nothing to be afraid of. 2 Timothy 2 and 7, 1 and 7, said that Yah has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Okay, just wanted to encourage you with those. But today I came to finish up what we've started in terms of Yah's voice, His voice, and yeah, that's what we're going to continue. Yeah, His voice. And so 1 Kings 20 and 36. Then said he unto him, because you have not obeyed the voice of Yah, behold, as soon as you are departed from me, a lion shall slay you, And as soon as was departed from him, a lion found him and slew him. Today I want to finish up with the topic, the dangers of not following his voice. And like I said to you before, I've written this last few weeks. When I did the first two parts, I had already had this know what I was going to do for the third part, because I realized it was long, but I didn't have a topic. So this morning when I woke up, that is what was in my spirit, the dangers of not following his voice. Okay, we have already said how our ancestors, when they obeyed, they were blessed, and when they disobeyed, they were cursed, and they experienced defeat. But I want to share with you a story that the Most High gave to me over 20 years ago, when he was speaking to me about his voice and the importance of following his voice. So I'm going to read to you from 1 Kings chapter 13. I don't just want to tell you to read it, I want to read it. I read this over and over years ago because I was surprised it was in the scripture, and I want to show you the dangers of not following the voice of Yah. There are a lot of voices. People can come and tell you all kind of stuff, but you need to hold on to what the Father is saying to you. Okay, 1 Kings chapter 13. And behold, there came a man of Yah out of Yehudah by the word of Yah unto Bethel. And Jeroham stood by the altar to burn incense. And he cried against the altar in the word of Yah, and said, O altar, altar, thus says Yah, behold, a child shall be born unto the house of David, Yashayahu by name, and upon you shall he offer the priest of the high places that burn incense upon you, and man's bones shall be burnt upon you. And he gave a sign the same day, saying, This is the sign which Yah has spoken. Behold, the altar shall be rent, and the ashes that are upon it shall be poured out. And it came to pass, when King Jeroham heard the saying of the man of Yah, which had cried against the altar in Bethel, that he put forth his hand upon the altar, saying, Lay hold on him. And his hand which he put forth against him dried up, so that he could not pull it in again to him. The altar also was rent, and the ashes poured out from the altar, according to the sign which the man of Elohim had given by the word of Yah. And the king answered and said unto the man of Yah, Entreat now the face of Yah Eloheka, and pray for me, that my hand may be restored me again. And the man of Elohim besought Yah, and the king's hand was restored him again, and became as it was before. And the king said unto the man of Yah, Come home with me and refresh yourself, and I will give you a reward. And the man of Yah said unto the king, If you will give me half of your house, I will not go in with you, neither will I eat bread nor drink water in this place. For so was it charged me by the word of Yah, saying, Eat no bread, nor drink water, nor turn again by the same way that you came. So he went another way, and returned not by the way that he came to Bethel. Now there dwelt an old prophet in Bethel, and his sons came and told him all the works that the man of Yah had done that day in Bethel. The words which he had spoken unto the king, them they told also to their father. And their father said unto them, What way went he? For his sons had seen what way the man of Yah went, which came from Yehudah. And he said unto his sons, Settle me the ass. So they settled him the ass, and he rode thereon, and went after the man of Yah, and found him sitting under an oak. And he said unto him, Are you the man of Yah that came from Yehudah? And he said, I am. Then he said unto him, Come home with me and eat bread. And he said, I may not return with you, nor go in with you, neither will I eat bread nor drink water with you in this place. For it was said to me by the word of Yah, you shall eat no bread nor drink water there, nor turn again to go by the way that you came. He said unto him, I am a prophet, also as you are. And an angel spoke unto me by the word of Yah, saying, bring him back with you into your house, that he may eat bread and drink water. But he lied unto him. So he went back with him, and did eat bread in his house, and drank water. And it came to pass, as they sat at the table, that the word of Yah came unto the prophet that brought him back. And he cried unto the man of Yah that came from Yehuda, saying, thus says Yah, for as much as you have disobeyed the mouth of Yah, and have not guarded the commandment which Yah Eloheka commanded you, but came back and have eaten bread and drank water in the place of the which Yah did say to you, eat no bread and drink no water, your carcass shall not come in unto the sepulchre of your fathers. And it came to pass, after he had eaten bread and after he had drunk, that he settled for him the ass, to wit, for the prophet whom he had brought back. And when he was gone, a lion met him by the way, and slew him, and his carcass was cast in the way, and the ass stood by it. The lion also stood by the carcass. And behold, men passed by, and saw the carcass cast in the way, and the lion standing by the carcass, and they came and told it in the city where the old prophet dwelled. And when the prophet that brought him back from the way heard thereof, he said, it is the man of Yah, who was disobedient unto the word of Yah. Therefore Yah has delivered him unto the lion, which has torn him and slain him according to the word of Yah, which he spoke unto him. And he spoke to his son, saying, settle me the ass. And they settled him. And he went and found his carcass cast in the way, and the ass and the lion standing by the carcass. The lion had not eaten the carcass, nor torn the ass. And the prophet took the carcass of the man of Elohim, and laid it upon the ass, and brought it back. And the whole prophet came to the city to mourn and to bury him. And he laid his carcass in his own grave, and they mourned over him, saying, alas, my brother. And it came to pass, after he had buried him, that he spoke to his son, saying, when I am dead, then bury me in the sepulchre wherein the man of Yah is buried. Lay my bones beside his bones. For the same which he cried by the word of Yah against the altar in Bethel, and against all the house of the high places which are in the cities of Shamron, shall surely come to pass. Now, when I read that years ago, when the Father directed me to read that shocked every nerve in me. And during this time, preparing this, that came back to me, reminding me of that story. And I kept opening my scriptures to it years ago. It had been over 20 years because I didn't have children then, and I shared it with my then husband. But of course, But I kept saying, how is it that the older prophet lied to him to deceive him? But that was not the point that the Most High was making to me. The point that he was making to me was, follow my voice. You obey what I am saying to you. Don't let nobody come telling you something other than what the Father said to you, what he spoke to you, what he speak to your spirit. You see, and that's why I keep saying there are a lot of voices out there. People can come and say all kind of stuff to you, and they may very well mean you well. But if what they're saying to you is not lining up with what the Father say to you, listen, there are dangers in not following his voice. Do you understand? Now, the story proves that the man who came from Yehuda was hearing from the Father. Everything he said came to pass. But an older prophet came and said something different. But because I guess he respect him and say, well, he older, listen to me. Ain't every elder is an elder. Do you understand? Not every elder is an elder. Okay? And so you, regardless of how old they are or how young they are, if what they're saying to you is not what the Father spoke to you, don't listen. Because the danger is, and you see what he did? He told them the word, and then he was the one that turned around and buried him. Do you understand? And that's how some people are. And I've experienced this, and I'm going to share with you an experience I've had with following the voice of Yah. Because the very ones who can come and tell you something different can be the same ones who can stand back and say, child, what? See, people come and they want to say they prophesying to you. They predicting. And when you listen to them and destruction does come, they will say, when I told you that was going to happen. You understand? Years ago, again, around the same time, because the Father was emphasizing to me about obeying his voice. And I went to BFM at that time, very popular ministry in the Bahamas. If I say the name of the man, everybody would know. But I used to go there a lot. My ex-husband and I went there. And there was another popular minister there from Trinidad. He was an older man. His name was Turnell Nelson. And he spoke with a very harsh, hard voice. I mean, he had a very good teaching ministry. And so at the end of one service one night, he called all those who were, I think, about 25 to 30 or 20 to 30 to come to the altar. And that would have been me. My ex-husband didn't go because, well, he is a little older than I am. So he didn't fall into that bracket. So I went. And we were standing around the altar, and he, at the bottom of the altar, and he was up on the podium. And so as we were standing there, he pointed to me and he said, come. He told me to come to him. And he called me on top of the podium where he was. And he came and he stood directly in the front of me. And he took his hands, both his hands, big hands, and he put them over my hairs like that. And he took my face to look directly in his face. And he said to me, you have a lot of voices around you. He said, but if you don't listen to the voice of the Father, what is in you is going to destroy you. He said, because you have greatness in you, but you have a lot of voices. And when he put his hand over my head, he said, I am praying for you tonight that you would block out all the other voices and follow his voice. His voice. And while praying for me, he put his hand. And at that time, honestly, I did not quite understand what he meant by all the other voices around, but following his voice. But later on, as time progressed, I understood completely what he was saying. And in my marriage, because the Father was saying to me, go here. And because I was practicing Christianity and following Christian interpretation of the scripture, I stayed in my marriage. And I watched as my life was, the quality of my life, the quality of my health, everything began to decline. And when it got down to being very, very bad for me in my marriage, because I stayed, but the Father was merciful to me, I came to a point where in 2009, this was basically the end of it now. And this is another testimony I want to share with you. I had filed for a legal separation from my then husband. I didn't want a divorce at the time because my children were very young. And so I went and put in for this legal separation. I didn't have a lawyer or anything. And so he was served the summons and became a big thing. I mean, it was crazy how big that got. But during that time, I used to go to prayer meeting with about 3 other older ladies. Every Saturday evening we met to pray. And they knew of the legal separation and everything. Okay, so there was a lot of talk. But anyway, one morning, I applied, I think in June. So in July, the Ruah woke me up one morning. And he said to me, go and take out the case. He said, and don't tell anyone. He said, you have a lot of people around you watching you be destroyed. He said, don't tell anyone. And I got up. My son at the time was 2. So I had him in summer school to get him used to regular school. He was going into regular school. And so I dropped him to the school and I took my daughter. And we went to the courthouse. And the Most High said to me, because I was like, take it out. He said, go there. Someone is going to be there to help you what to do. And when I got there, there was a police. And he asked me, say, Miss, what did you come for? And I told him, he said, come, go in here. And when I went in there was a lady who I'd worked with years ago. And she and I were about the same age. She was a friend. She and I were good friends on the former job. And she said, hey, call my name. What are you doing? And I hailed her, called her name. And I told her what I came to do. She said, okay, don't you worry about that. I can take that, deal with that for you. She said, she gave me a piece of paper. She said, just write here that you want to take it out. I did that and I left. So the case was set for September. So anyway, a lot of talk was going on. And I didn't say nothing. I didn't tell nobody I took it out. So when it came to the day of the case, I went back to work because I'd gotten a job. My children went to school. They went to school in August. I went to work in September. And so the morning of the case, he got up and whatever. But anyway, I didn't go. So that evening, of course, a friend called and she's like, what happened? Sounding so sorrowful. I said, what happened? But I didn't remember. I said, what do you mean? She said, what happened with the case? And you go to court. She got irritated. I said, I didn't go to no court. She said, how come you went to court? I said, I didn't go to court because the father told me not to go. And she was shocked because this was supposed to be my best friend. And I didn't tell her anything. She's like, oh, so what happened? I said, I don't know. I didn't ask. I don't know. So that following Saturday, I went to prayer meeting as usual. And while I was in that prayer meeting, I found out what was happening. My ex-husband really had gotten a lawyer, and he had all of these witnesses from the church. Even the pastor of the church showed up to the court with him to be there with him, to support him against me. And I sat there, and the father of the Lord said to me, do you hear that? He said, they knew, and no one told you the plans that was going on against you. No one told you. And I sat there and I was like, wow, but if I had not listened to the voice of the Most High and go down there and take that case out, let me tell you what would have happened to me. When school opened, regular school opened in September, the woman, my friend, her child was in the school where I was. And she saw me that morning. She said, girl, listen to me. I am so happy you didn't come to that court. I was like, why? What happened? She said, as soon as I saw him, I remembered him. I knew him, because she, like I said, from the other job. She said, he came there dressed up in his Bible and his coat suit. I said, oh, she said, and the people with him. She said, girl, listen to me. When I saw him and I saw them, so I was like, I am so happy you did not show up to that court. She said, let me tell you something. I work around the court. She said, you know how many women come to that particular court and leave there and go straight to Sandalins? I was like, what? She said, yes. She said, so I was happy you didn't come. You didn't show up to the court. I was like, wow. And the only thing I was like, Father, always have a way to let people know the plans that were against you. But if I did not listen and follow the voice of the Father, listen to me. Because you see, what he was trying to do was build a case against me to take away my children and all this other stuff. You understand? But I am grateful that I listened to the Father, that I listened and I followed his voice. And he didn't say anything to me. 2 weeks later, he was like, oh, you didn't come to us. I said, yeah. Many are the plans of a man's heart, but it's only Yah's will that prevail. And the Father promised me that he would never let my enemies triumph over me. I want to encourage you with that today. The importance of following his voice and the dangers of not following his voice, especially in this time. Do you understand? Everyone was excited about 2020 because we didn't know what was going to happen. And now everything that's happened in 2020 has been really, truly, when you look on the broad scope of things, devastating. Do you understand? Persons have lost their jobs. So many persons have died, even right here. In the last few days, I've heard of 2 young women who went to sleep and didn't wake up because, I guess, of the stress of what's going on. You understand? And so I want to encourage you. If people are now very, I guess maybe some are looking forward to 2021, the Gregorian calendar, because they're thinking, oh, it can't get no worse than 2020. But whatever it brings, I want to encourage you to follow the voice of the Most High. You understand me? Know Him for yourself. Take time to sit and listen to His voice. Turn off the TV. Turn off the cell phone. Block out persons. That's what I had to learn to do. You understand me? And listen, and for His still soft voice speaking to you. You understand me? And regardless of what people come and what they may say to you, especially you are in these churches, listen to me. Church, I've said it before, it's a dangerous place. I was sitting with those women, praying with them. Do you understand me? And they had not told me what they knew was being conspired against me. And if I didn't listen to the Father and not tell them, and that, let me tell you something, that was a learning experience for me. Because after that point, this is why I live the way I live. I don't have nobody coming around me. You understand me? I have a house phone that if it rings, I don't answer it. Because people who know me can call me on my cell phone. You see, I had to make some very, very serious, take some measures to protect me, to protect my children. Because sometimes the very people who are in your circle, because they are so divided. See, my ex-husband, like I said before, he was a minister, he was a pastor, and now he's a pastor and everything else. You understand me? And if you know anything about people in religion, they all excited about titles. And they look at the outward. Yes, man, someone said to me, oh, he could really preach the word and everything else. I say, okay. You understand me? Negating the fact that they would know, because they knew the conditions I was living in and the situations with him and my children. They knew all of that. All of that. But still, because of this position and this name and everything else that people gravitate towards. You understand me? But I held on to the word. And from that day, I saw people saw the change in me. Because from moving on, when I moved from him, because a couple days later, I was able to move, and nobody knew where I moved. No one knew I was moving. I packed up my 2 children, and I left. Do you understand? Because these were the people who were supposed to be my friends. They were supposed to be my friends. Do you understand? So you've got to learn to follow and listen to the voice of the Most High. And people who come and saying they mean you well and giving you this advice, listen, I'm going to say it to you again. If what they are saying to you does not line up with what's in your spirit, don't follow what they say. Remember this. Read 1 Kings 13 again. This man was supposed to be a man of Yah, a prophet. You understand me? That lied to the younger prophet. And because he listened to the voice of the older prophet and did not follow the voice of the Most High, he was destroyed. And that happens to a lot of people. Because we trust people in this position and we trust people in that position and we go against what is in us. Yah can speak to you first about you. He can speak to you. Do you understand me? And ain't no prophets. When Yahushua left, he left the Ruach HaKodesh. Do you understand me? You people who still following these prophets. He left the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit of the Most High, who would lead and guide you into all truth. He didn't leave the Bible. He didn't leave no version. And he did not leave a prophet. He didn't leave a prophet. So you who following after the voice of the prophet, be very careful. You better sit your bottom down and learn to hear the voice of the Father for yourself. Because it may save your life and it may save your children's life. As you move in, this is, what day it is, December 30th. As everyone is preparing and anticipating 2021, the Gregorian calendar 2021, I had someone send me some stuff. I stopped listening to a lot of stuff on WhatsApp about the COVID and the this and that. Sweetheart, The only thing I need to know is when they say you're locked down, you come in this hour and you come in the next. Other than that, I'm not interested. I just want to be in compliance with the law. You do what you do. Do you. You understand? Do you? But don't come piling a lot of stuff on me because I am learning to follow the voice of the Father. You understand me? And if you come telling me it's raining and you tell me it ain't raining, and even if I see the rain, I'm inclined to go with what he's saying. That's the mindset that I have. And I want to encourage you. Learn to listen and follow him, regardless of what people are saying around you. You could be in a thunderstorm, but if peace in you, follow the peace in you. Do you understand? Because see, that storm may be for someone else who's not following his voice. Don't get caught up on other people's destruction because they didn't listen. You understand? Because they are not obeying. Don't get caught up in that. You stay focused and you obey. You follow his voice so you can escape the dangers of not following his voice. I do hope this has encouraged you. I hope this whole series encouraged you and to follow the voice of the Most High. You understand me? Yah speaks. He's still speaking. He will always speak. How are you listening? You understand me? Do you have a ear to hear, a heart to hear his voice? Because if you don't, then unfortunately it could be to your destruction. Shalom. I pray Yah's blessing and his peace upon you and yours, and rest in him. Rest in him. Don't be discouraged. Don't be dismayed. Don't become overwhelmed. You normally get like that when you're listening to this and listening to that. Listen, block it out. Block it out. And learn to follow only his voice. Shalom.